YouTube, welcome back to my channel. So it seems as though the body language expert Judy James has done an analysis of Harry and William's body language on the day of Prince Philip's funeral, and she has basically summarized her thoughts and feelings regarding their interaction and Kate's concern. Now, I did notice during the funeral that at the end of the funeral, when they actually had the formal service and came out of the church, Harry was kind of lingering around, and then he actually chased down Kate and then proceeded to start talking to his brother. So I'm going to get into the article. So this is a Mirror publication. As the Queen, royal family, and the whole world said their final goodbyes to Prince Philip at a scaled-down yet moving funeral, there may have been a moment of possible reconciliation between his grandsons, William and Harry. Body language experts Bruce and Judy James believe we saw the family coming together after months of fallout and tension, as they said their farewells to the Duke of Edinburgh. Harry and William joined other senior members of the family to walk alongside the coffin before taking their seats on opposite sides of the chapel. Speaking to the Mirror, Bruce highlights how Kate stares over at her brother-in-law during the service, suggesting it could be because she wants to keep an eye on him and perhaps feels a mother's need to care for him. Meanwhile, Judy suggests the brothers walking away together could be the moment of possible reconciliation that we had all been hoping for. Harry and William looked solemn as they joined Charles, Anne, Andrew, Edward and Peter in a procession behind Philip's coffin for a short procession around the castle. Bruce explains as William and Harry follow the Land Rover, Prince Harry's hands have been mainly clenched in a fist-like position, like the rest of the family, but his thumbs are rubbing his fingers for a fair proportion of time. This rubbing is a form of self-soothing. We don't know why, but he's feeling uncomfortable. This, coupled with the behavioural cluster of biting his bottom lip, reinforces that feeling of being uncomfortable. Let's not be too hasty, though. This is his grandfather's funeral, after all. Prince William seems to be more stoic in his approach, and of course he has more responsibility resting upon his shoulders. And I think that William was really trying to control his emotions because he has to grapple with his rage with his brother, and then of course he's got the public intrusion of the cameras constantly rolling. He has to be considerate of the Queen herself, his wife, and then his grief for his grandfather. So a lot of dynamics were going on as to why he would have been very stoic in that moment, I think, during the funeral. Judy also noticed a change in the Duke's shoulders as he entered the chapel, saying, Harry seemed to try a relaxed style of walking at first, but then pulled at his waistcoat or jacket in a self-comfort ritual. He's seen rolling his shoulders in the chapel as though trying to throw off tension and brace himself. Prince Charles, walking ahead of his two sons, looked deeply lost in grief over his father. And of course, yes, Charles did seem extremely solemn, and he was solemn. His eyes looked red and he appeared to be in tears after trying to perform a closed-lipped smile of bravado at the start. The brothers were seated apart in the chapel as the family was split into two sides of the historic building. Bruce notes as they enter the church, Prince Harry is directly across from Kate. Both of them seem more comfortable at looking at the coffin rather than looking at each other, which is normal. Eye contact, one of the most powerful triggers of the limbic system, is definitely being avoided here. This feeling could be presented by the elephant in the room trigger. Kate, the other lady in relation to Meghan, will obviously have an opinion on previous events. It would not be uncommon for the relationships between the two wives to impact the feelings of the men in the relationship. As the choir begins to sing, there is a snapshot just for a second where Kate looks directly across at Harry, and as he catches her gaze, he immediately looks away and above. And Harry was looking above a lot, even as they was walking up to the church. And what I noticed about this, it seemed as though he was recollecting his memories, because this is where him and Meghan got married. And he was really looking at the grounds and the splendor of the building, because he hasn't seen it in a long time. And he really seemed to be going through some kind of memory process, childhood memories, maybe memories of the wedding day in 2018. He was very observant and really taken in his uncle, his walk. And I did notice Prince A was kind of walking in a very restricted way. I don't know if it's because he's gained weight or if it's because some kind of health condition. Harry was really quite concerned, and he was really looking at him, and it seemed as though, I'm not really sure, but I feel like Harry may use Prince A as some kind of PR stunt when he goes back to America, because he really was looking at Prince A a lot. Harry kept on gazing in his direction. It could have been that he was looking at the buildings to the right-hand side as they walked down, or he could have been looking at Prince A from behind him. So who knows? So they go on a bit here that there was a lot of discomfort. And then it carries on. What is really interesting is as the religious stories are read out, Prince William is more comfortable looking towards the Dean of Windsor, but Kate has an almost fight-like stare directed at Prince Harry. This is very unusual behavior from Kate. Again, we don't know why she's staring straight at him. All we know is that she actually was. Kate looked really nice on the day of the funeral. She wore a set of jewelry, a set of pearls, a pearl necklace and pearl earrings, which was gifted to Diana to wear by the Queen and, of course, to Kate. And it was a very beautiful piece. She looked very regal, aristocratically elegant. And yeah, all I can say is she was there, right? She was there to pay her respects. So it continues on here. Now, if we can generalize for a second, males have a higher tendency to stare than females, especially in confrontational situations. This would be increased if it was a confrontation between a male and a female, but the roles are reversed here. Kate must be experiencing a certain type of powerful emotion, maybe some inner voice that she wants to express but can only come out via a stare due to the situation. And I think she stared at him, A, because she hasn't seen him in over a year, and B, because of what he facilitated Meghan to do, which was essentially trash her on the Oprah interview. So it continues on here. Remember, from a body language perspective, people don't always tell you how they feel verbally, but they will always show you, and that is done via body language. Kate's body language speaks volumes here. It may be that she's concerned for Prince Harry. She wants to keep an eye on him, and I don't think that it was concern. I think it was an element of frustration, to be honest. So it continues on here, more into the funeral. Kate lessens the stairs, and at one point even shuffles across just slightly towards William. Judy says it was the Queen who created the most poignant sight, though, sitting isolated in the chapel with her head dipped so low, nothing of her face was visible. She still appeared to be wanting to create a very maternal presence, chatting to the bishop, etc., etc. Then it says here, he sees Harry joining up with William and Kate, and he actually chased them down. They was about to walk off. I don't think they was really interested in talking to him, but he desperately wanted to get that moment, I think. So being welcomed into the group with open arm gestures and opening up, William and Kate taking a step back so that Harry can join in. And as they walk up the hill, it's Kate who steps away to allow Harry and William to walk together, as they have done so often in the past, with the formal structure and placements at an end, two brothers doing what comes natural to them, walking and chatting like they've done all of their lives. And I think that they was taken aback by Harry actually intercepting, and with Kate standing back and letting them have that chat. She really didn't want to be anywhere near Harry. She wanted to keep her distance and she wanted to keep conversation to a minimum. And she probably just wasn't prepared to do the act, to be honest. And William, of course, he's like a rabbit in headlights in as much as he knows the press is watching. He knows that they're constantly being filmed. And even if he didn't want to acknowledge his brother or talk to his brother, what could he really do at that point? He had to put on a united front. And I think Harry knew that he got him at a great disadvantage. He had to engage with him in a nice, warm, welcoming way, no matter how upset with him he actually was. So Judy adds, on the way out after the service, Harry walked last in the line from his side of the pews and appeared to avoid all eye contact with the other royals, even Sophie and her daughter, who appeared to be waiting to eye greet him as he walked past. He was carrying his service program nervously and even tapped it on the side of his leg as he waited, in what could have been seen as a gesture of silent impatience, hinting that he was finding the moments with the royal group very difficult. It was only when the service was over and the royal left that we finally saw Harry eye-check William and then walk up between William and Kate to chat. Kate fell back to talk to another party, leaving the two brothers walking alone, talking in the moment of possible reconciliation that we had all been hoping for. I don't know if Harry done that to literally just get us talking. He wanted that money shot because apparently it was William who requested that their cousin stand in between them to keep that distance. So someone has said it was a lovely service and funeral. Meghan shouldn't have been there after everything that has happened, and that interview was disgusting. Attacking your own family in public. Hopefully she stays away for a very long time. So with all that being said, that's the body language rundown thus far. I'm sure they will probably do another one. I'll be back with another video. Bye guys.